Hey, real quick guys, before the video starts, I just wanted to say I looked at the video as I'm finishing up editing right now, and man, I just broke 1,000 views on my Elder Scrolls 6 theory video, and all the comments I've been getting on it have been very supportive, and I appreciate all of you guys sharing it and viewing it and liking it, and just thank you so much for watching it, and I hope that I continue to impress you guys moving forward. Anyway, on to the theory. Thank you guys again so much. Okay guys, it's Infinity again with another video. I'm trying to pump out these videos kind of daily, or at least doing them whenever I feel like I have free time in between, developing the next to study of and just taking some time for myself and try to play some games and relax. But I wanted to sit down and kind of talk about what I think the next Elder Scrolls game should take from Elder Scrolls 2. Because I was playing it for the review the other day, and I realized something that I really liked in the game itself. And that was, in the very beginning of the game, you are faced with this option after you receive a letter from one of the informants from the Empire or the Blades. Same thing really, I guess. She kind of informs you by saying, I'm staying at an inn in such and such place and I will be here for a month, and then after that month I will disappear. And I realized something. The game is giving you a choice here, and that is actually something that I feel the Elder Scrolls 6 should really, I guess, kind of look to when it's doing its next story. It should kind of take a note from that. Continuing, as I'm just kind of really getting into this right off the bat, I actually really like this idea. This concept in the story gives the player more choice. It even tells them, like, you don't even have to do the story. You can just go out and pretend to be whoever you want. Because in Skyrim, you kind of have this similar option. If you decide to not go to Riverwood and talk to anybody, or if you even talk to Riverwood and you just decide to not go to Whiterun's Jarl at all, you can essentially pretend to just not be the Dragonborn. The dragons will never show up. You can do all the main quests, excluding certain ones up to certain points. I know you cannot do the Civil War without moving the dragon storyline forward, which kind of sucks. But for the most part, about 70 to 80% of the game you can do, even some of the DLCs like in Dawnguard, you can do without being the Dragonborn. And that's cool because they even have custom lines to say, oh, well, if you're not the Dragonborn, or if you, I don't know what's so special about you, but there's something special without them just saying, oh, you're the Dragonborn before you can figure it out, which is really cool. I really like that. I think this idea of you being able to straight up skip the story and just do whatever you want is a very, very nice feature that I don't feel a lot of games seem to get today. And it's interesting because Elder Scrolls 2 and Elder Scrolls 5 weren't the only games to kind of do this. In the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, you didn't have to go find Joffrey right away. You could just kind of take the amulet that kings have in your inventory as a reminder, sure, but you could just essentially roleplay that you weren't even a member, or you weren't even present for the Emperor's death. You were just kind of this random citizen in Cyrodiil that didn't really have anything right off the bat. And with certain mods, it even makes sense, because there are alternate start mods that just straight up do not allow you to start off in the dungeon. And it makes sense because you can just go find the amulet anytime you want, and just continue the story from there, without the burden of the amulet being in your inventory, being like, hey, you got a story to do, huh? You should probably get to that. And it's like, no, I'll stick with my Mage's Guild quest, thank you. But the point is that, like, it's not the first game. These are not the only two games, I suppose you could say, that do that. I feel like this is a very important feature that I feel Fallout, or at least Bethesda's Fallout, doesn't seem to do right either. And I know, I'm kind of rambling a little bit here, but just bear with me, I have a point. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like the latest Fallout games are kind of an example of why it's wrong to not give the player this option. As Fallout 4 especially was one of those games that kind of like shoved you in and made you feel like the story was so important, but it overwhelmed you with so many options that you wanted to go off and do your own thing. And that's why a lot of people feel the need, like myself, to mod in options for me to just not do the main story. For me to just want to be another character like a raider or something. I feel like the next Elder Scrolls game, or by even extension the next Fallout game, should definitely have this feature where you should be able to just start off your playthrough and not have to be anybody. Because at the end of the day, that's really what makes the Bethesda games so great. Even other game franchises like Dishonored and such, What makes a great game, a lot of the times, or at least what's a huge factor into it, is player choice. And I'm not just talking about one or the other right off the bat. I mean like, just the freedom for anybody to do what they want to do as soon as they boot up the game. That's one of the strong suits of Daggerfall, that's one of the strong suits of Skyrim, and that's one of the strong suits of games like New Vegas that kind of let you go out and explore the Mojave, and they let you do almost anything as soon as you're like out of Doc Mitchell's house. You could go straight for the NCR, you can go try to join the Legion right away, doing whatever method you can. You could just screw over the Powder Gang, you can go up to their prison, you can destroy them. It was cool. And I really like that, honestly. I think player choice is an important feature that, especially when it comes to even choosing whether or not to do the story, I feel like that is an important thing to throw into a game. Just the option of that is a cool feature to have. But that's really it. I can't say much else without repeating what I've already said. I'm not going to sit here for 15 minutes and say the same thing 10 times over. I just thought it would be interesting to just sit down and discuss with you guys and maybe point out another feature that I didn't really get to put into my what we should expect from Elder Scrolls 6 video. I realized that last night while I was playing Daggerfall, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Now I think about it, going through all the footage and all that, I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I could have just said, no, I don't want to, and I could have just lived out my life in Daggerfall and not had to worry about the story at all. Even one of the head developers at Bethesda even said that he never played through the story. He left that for another adventure. My job was to just kind of go around and live my life, and I think that was great, you know. I thought that was really cool that he said that, because if someone from Bethesda saying that, we might end up seeing that moving forward. They might factor and value that just a little bit more, since a member of their rank seems to think the same thing, even though he might not have that much of a weigh-in on the story. But who knows? You can dream, right? But yes, like I said, that's it. There's not really much more to talk about when it comes to this. I just wanted to put that out there to see what you guys thought, like if you guys had ever strayed off the path when it came to an Elder Scrolls or Fallout story, and just wanted to do your own thing, pretend to live in the world and be your own person, really, instead of this person that has to be involved in the main conflict, you know. But that was it. This has been Infinity Break, and you all know what I'm about to say next. Say it with me now. Eat well, play well, and live well, friends. Make sure you guys go out there every day and strive to break infinity. I'll see you guys in the next video.